Inferences about a population. I believe the only time all year where we have back-to-back assignments where you cannot redo individual problems because all our problems are virtually the same. So let's dive right in and take a look at number one. Tammy asked a random group of 120 dog owners in her neighborhood if they used the dog park with their pets. Of those asked, 102 had taken their pets to the dog park in the last week. Tammy inferred that most dog owners in her neighborhood used the dog park. Choose each statement that correctly describes the strength of this inference. So let's talk about strong and weak inferences. It's like having confidence in something. In this case, confidence in a prediction based on a sample size about the whole. So in general, I can have a strong inference or I could be really confident about it if it's really obvious one way or another. If either, hey, a lot of people like this or nobody likes it. If I ask a question like, how many people in this room like pizza? On average, it might be like 90%. If I ask people, hey, of the kind of pizza you like, how many people prefer anchovies? It might be like 2. That one guy in the back who loves anchovies. These are both situations where we have a strong inference because I could then predict out of the whole group of people that, you know what, most people are probably going to like pizza and most people are probably not going to like anchovies. Weak inference is like, hey, do you guys prefer chocolate or do you prefer non-chocolate candies like sweet tarts, Skittles, gummy bears? It's usually like maybe 60-40 chocolate. I am one of those that prefers chocolate for sure. Well, that's kind of different, but it's pretty close to each other. So, I don't know. In that room, 60-40 chocolate, it could easily be flipped or more the other direction as a whole. So if it's closer to 50% than it is to 100 or 0, it's weak. Because it's like 50-50. I don't know, I'm kind of unsure about that. It's also weak if, notice in our Desmos calculator, I have left open the 20% magic sample size percentage. If I ask, like that farmer did last time where he got 2 trees out of 1,000, if I don't at least ask 20% of my whole population what they think, my sample size is too small. And we'll see that in a few of these problems. Okay. Number one, though, they don't tell you how many people are in the whole town, so we can't check sample size. Instead, we can just check the percentage, which is 85. So we have to ask ourselves, is this percentage strong or weak? In other words, is it closer to 100 or 0 or 50? Well, 85 is 35 away from 50 and only 15 away from 100. So it's strong. This is a pretty high number. So for you, click strong because of your percentage. Our other options, we know it's strong, so it's not the weak ones. And it's also not impossible to determine the strength because we know it's strong. Okay. And look what it says about the dog park. You deserve a Scooby snack. Hilarious. Number 2 is the same kind of problem, but now we're having a situation where your percentage is close to half. 45%. That, instead of being strong, is weak. Because it's not obvious one way or another that people either like or don't like the dog park. So 1, just one answer, strong. 2, just one answer, weak. And both of them deserve Scooby Snacks. Number 3, Jeremy asked a random group of 20 students at his school if they used mechanical pencils. Probably because he ran out of lead. I remember when people used mechanical pencils, they were always asking me for more lead. And I never had mechanical pencils. There are 1,450 students at his school. Okay, pause. 20% of 1,450. He should have asked at least 290 students. Instead, he asked 20. We know right off the bat that this is weak because of the sample size is too small. Of those asked, 8 said they use mechanical pencils. Rich kids. Jeremy inferred that most students do not use mechanical pencils. Well, we have a weak problem here for 2 reasons. Not only is the sample size small, he asked far less than 290 students, this percentage, just like we had with the dog park, of 40 is close to half. It's close to 50. Was his survey biased? No, the man just wanted to know about pencils. So it's those two answers about weakness. And this is arguably the cringiest pun of all time in our class for feedback. Sharp answer, like a mechanical pencil. Wow, way to lead with that, or you shouldn't have led with that. That answer was number 2. Pencil demic. Okay, I'll stop. But if you have to explain a pun, just like if you have to explain a joke, you guys know out there. Whew, it's a rough time. Number 4, 91 out of 350 7th grade boys were surveyed regarding their hair color. Okay, out of those 91, we had 37 that were brown, 33 who had black hair, 19 who had blonde hair, and 2 redheads. Can we infer from any of this that we can strongly infer something? First of all, we don't know. I guess we do know about 91 out of 350. So let's check 20% of our 350 to make sure our sample size is good. Did we ask at least 70 people? Yes, we asked 91, so sample size is good. Notice that even though brown hair is the most, it's only the most by 4. So if I ask the remaining 350 group, so I guess 350 minus 91 would be what? The remaining 259 people? Easily, this gap can be made up, and maybe black hair is the most. Or maybe even blonde, although probably not. They're falling pretty far behind. I cannot strongly infer that the most have brown hair, even though they technically do in this, because it is so close to black hair. However, let's look at our redheads. 2 out of 91 is a extremely small percentage. It's so small that I can strongly infer for sure that even out of the rest of the 350 people, the fewest people are going to have red hair. So let's strongly infer not that the most boys have brown hair, but that the fewest have red hair. And that matches just general knowledge of what it's like to have red hair in our population. It's like being left-handed. Okay. Good answer. Thank you. I wish it said a hair pun, like, well, red for the red hair. All right, 103 out of 425. Let's check it again. 20% of 425 is 85. We asked 103. That's good. Red hair again. Wow, only one person out of 103 have red hair, so we could strongly infer that again. What about the most? Look at this. Black hair now soars above. It's ahead of its class. Apparently, all the puns today. So we have 2 things that we could choose on this one. We could strongly infer that the fewest boys had red hair. We could also strongly infer that the most boys have black hair. All right, you getting this? You seeing the pattern now? Again, I wanted to have a pun, a cut above for, haircuts. Number 6, 112 7th grade girls were asked, what is your favorite sport to play? There were 350 total 7th grade girls, so let's do our 20% of 351. Did we ask at least 70.2? Don't know what the 0.2 would be in this context, but yeah, we asked 112. Now notice, basketball is the most, but barely. Softball is the least, but barely. We almost have 2 that tie for the most and tie for the least. So out of the whole 7th grade girls class, I have no idea from this survey. This is a very weak survey. Is it weak because sample size is too small? Nope. We checked the percentage. We're good there. It could strongly infer. Can't do that. Strongly infer. Can't strongly infer. Softball is likely to remain the least popular sport. I have no idea. Softball could blow up in 2 years, or maybe it ceases to exist. You cannot predict the future, nor could this sample help you with that. All it can help you, same thing with this one, can't predict about basketball. All it can help you predict is that any inference is weak because no sport was clearly most or least popular. We had 2 that tied for most, and we had 2 that tied for least. So find that somewhere. That is your answer. Slam dunk. Thanks, sports pun. I used to be able to dunk back in the day. All right. Number 7, 75 7th grade girls were asked, what's your favorite sport to play? So a similar question. 20% of 219. We had to ask at least 43, again, 0.8. We asked 75. We're fine. And look, there is one here that sticks up like a sore thumb, head of its class. Soccer. So we cannot strongly infer anything about the least. These are all pretty similar at the bottom. But we can strongly infer that soccer is the most popular sport to play. So It is right at the bottom. It could be strongly inferred that the most popular sport to play is soccer. None of the other ones work, either because they're weak or because, again, they're trying to predict the future, which we cannot do. And it says slam dunk again. I wonder what yours says. I've seen home run. I've seen goal. Other sports-related puns. All right, number 8 is like the opposite. We have 3 that tie for the most, but softball is in this problem the least. So we can strongly infer that the least popular sport to play is softball. We can infer about the most popular, and again, we can't predict the future of what's going to remain popular. Not based on this data. Do I get slam dunk for the 3rd time in a row? Please mix it up, mix it up, mix it up. You spiked it. Ooh, volleyball. I love volleyball. Love it, love it, love it. All right. Below is a sample of 317 students at Capital Elementary School. Let's figure out what 317 is. 63.4. Did we ask at least 63.4? We asked 74. Okay, we're good. We gave them these presidents to choose from. Or I guess technically we didn't. Technically we just asked them all. And of the presidents, they gave these answers. Washington, Lincoln, Kennedy, Reagan, Obama. Well, these are all pretty similar. They're all almost tied. They're all above 10. They're all less than 20. This is an incredibly weak sample because no president was clearly most or least respected. And that's surprising. I feel like if you ask an elementary school, they're just going to go with the people they know. But I guess it's true. They'd probably have a balance of like who's president now and like the most famous people. Washington, Lincoln, for instance. All right, what else? Strongly infer no. Any inference this week because too few presidents were included. It didn't say that they just included these presidents. It just said those are the ones that were most. And sample size we checked. So it's just that one. All right, here's my favorite pun all year. It's ridiculous. You ready? You could be the president of Mathland. Oh, thank you. Boy, that sounds like an irrational decision. Am I right? Number 10. Below is a sample of the favorite amusement park among 816 students. All right, 816. Let's figure out our sample size. We got to ask at least 163.2 of them. Instead, we asked 8, 9, 3, and 4. Not that we need to really add these up to prove that they're less than that because it's so obvious, but let's just see. 24. I think we could all agree 24 is much less than 163.2. So we know right off the bat that our sample size is bad. But let's also look at the data. These sound, I don't know, kind of like sketchy places to me. Fun Time and Playland are almost tied for the most. Meanwhile, Water World and Roller World tie for the least. So we know it's weak for 2 reasons. It's weak because no park is clearly most or least popular. It's also weak because the sample size. The other choices are strongly inferred, nope. And 2 parks were included in the survey. How many parks this town got? I wish my town had 4 different parks. So, no, that's good. And the final fitting pun. This is maybe the best pun-centered lesson of any you'll ever see in my class. Thrilling answer. You know, like a park is. Thrilling to go on. Get it? Yeah. There it is. 10 for 10. Beautiful. Hopefully you copied it correct. If you did not, you could redo the whole assignment, fill it in, rewind this video, catch up where you need to. I hope that whether you prefer water parks, roller coaster parks, or somewhere in between, you have enjoyed this assignment and that you got the grade you're looking for, at least a 70%, so I could put it in the grade book. Take care and best wishes on your day. I hope, like these amusement parks, that it is thrilling.